I watched her documentary before she ever became big. I think I seen it on PBS, on Channel 13. You can tell she was a rough. She had anger problems. She was not ladylike. She was nigga boy, tomboy. Nah, and she, nigga, she went through the process and corrected what needed to be corrected to represent what a champ is. She ain't no Layla Ali. None of our new youth are what our old stars used to be. They got their own mind, they got their own identity. So nah, man, homie, they picking on Claressa, and can't nobody whoop her. So
get ready, because what you're about to hear isn't a rumor, an opinion, or some random gossip. This is the moment the story finally comes into full view. When Charleston White spoke, he didn't yell. He didn't cause a scene. He revealed the truth. The silence that everyone assumed meant loyalty turned out to be the loudest confession of all. For years, the world saw a perfect picture. A champion, a successful couple, a love story wrapped in fame, money, and admiration. But Charleston quietly asked the questions no one else dared to ask. What if this wasn't love at all? What if it was all carefully planned? What if appearances mattered more than reality? He didn't attack anyone. He didn't beg for attention. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He connected the dots. He reminded everyone that Claressa Shields didn't start out polished or celebrated. She was raw, passionate, unfiltered, and had to be shaped not just into a champion, but into a brand that couldn't handle chaos. A brand that couldn't survive curiosity or doubt, and that's when the story gets darker. While the cameras focused on her boxing victories, something else quietly ran the show behind the scenes. Money, image, protection, power. Standing there wasn't just a partner, it was a gatekeeper. Someone whose silence was intentional, strategic, planned. Charleston White didn't accuse anyone directly. He let the pattern speak. He let the silence speak. Suddenly, the relationship everyone admired started to look less like love and more like a carefully crafted arrangement. True love doesn't need this much control, this much quiet, or this much calculation. Real love isn't managed like a business. Contract with rules and expiration dates. From this moment on, everything AB.
Claressa Shields wants to have babies with Papoose while he's still married to Remy.
They gonna look like African kids, Ugandan babies. Yeah. They ain't gonna know if them babies Nigerian, Jamaican, or Haitian. But they gonna have some pretty chocolate skin. Don't know if their hair gonna be too straight or wavy. They may have African hair. But they sure gonna be nigga kids. Yeah. They gonna be some smart kids that know how to fight.
What made this moment so striking wasn't how loud Charleston White spoke. It wasn't about yelling, drama, or trying to shock anyone. It was the calm, deliberate way he delivered his words, as if he were simply pointing out what everyone had been ignoring all along. This wasn't a rant. It wasn't a heated argument. It was a shift in perspective, a lens that made people reconsider everything they thought they knew. And once that perspective landed, the story around Charleston White, Claressa Shields, and Papoose quietly began to unravel. Charleston didn't question Claressa's skill or her achievements. He questioned the environment built around her. He didn't deny her greatness. Instead, he highlighted how carefully that greatness had been managed and protected. In today's celebrity world, he argued, the most dangerous thing isn't failure, it's immunity. When someone becomes too valuable to question, when scrutiny feels forbidden, real control begins. He emphasized a point most fans missed. Claressa's rise wasn't just about discipline, hard work, or talent. It was about refinement, image control, and narrative management. Not because she couldn't handle herself, but because the brand around her couldn't tolerate unpredictability. The public saw dominance and success, but behind the scenes, every fight, every move, and every public appearance was calculated. What looked raw and spontaneous was actually meticulously managed. Then Charleston shifted focus from the ring to the people surrounding Claressa, the ones shaping her access, influence, and public perception. That's where Papoose comes in. He isn't just a romantic figure. He's a stabilizing force in her story. He doesn't need to be loud or confrontational, but his presence is constant, quiet, and influential. Charleston didn't say Papoose controlled Claressa. He explained a subtle dynamic. The person who shields you from criticism often also filters what reaches you. Silence isn't passive, it's strategic. Relationships like this start looking less like love and more like alignment. Claressa needed stability, credibility, and protection from chaos. Papoose needed relevance, influence, and visibility. Together, they didn't just appear strong, they appeared untouchable. He also brought Remy Ma into the discussion. Her absence wasn't coincidence, it was incompatibility. She spoke out, challenged narratives, and refused to be managed. When a system can't control someone, that person is often removed. Charleston didn't accuse anyone of scheming. He described patterns. Certain voices are amplified, others phased out. Stories evolve not because the truth changes, but because some narratives serve the system better. By the end, Claressa wasn't just a fighter. She was an asset, a carefully preserved image. And the question fans had long asked, why Papoose never publicly defended or confronted anyone, was answered. It wasn't emotion, it was strategy. Calm in Charleston's words shifted the public's perception. What once looked like love now looked deliberate, calculated, and unshakably controlled.
Yeah, that nigga Papoose. And this is why I say that. You ain't never heard no hoe come out and say nothing bad about him first. Even when this hoe was doing wrong, he wasn't running to the internet bashing her. And he don't speak much. He's a man of silence, so that means his words are important to him. I done seen him get with two women, and it seemed like he brought the best out of both women. Yeah, I don't know too many niggas that go hold their girl down when they go to jail.
That silence wasn't about innocence. Charleston White framed it as discipline. And discipline, he suggested, is often mistaken for virtue. When someone never reacts publicly, people assume everything is fine. But sometimes it's because they understand the power of restraint better than anyone else. Charleston then explored what happens when careers peak but identities don't grow. When public attention fades, the fastest path back is proximity to influence. He didn't say Papoose used Claressa. He said opportunity finds those prepared for it. When one person needs stability and another access, the world calls it love, because strategy doesn't sound as appealing. Claressa's life, he argued, shifted over time, less about boxing, more about image. Less about risk, more about preservation. He also criticized the industry, questioning why so many voices promoting empowerment go silent when it matters most. Silence at that level isn't neutrality, it's participation. Control doesn't arrive loudly. It creeps in disguised as loyalty, protection, or love. Repeated injuries make vulnerability profitable, and dependence becomes natural. People closest to you aren't just supportive, they become essential. Charleston didn't talk about villains. He described incentives. Modern public relationships, he said, often function like contracts. Who provides value, protection, access, or absorbs risk? Love in that system becomes leverage, stability, or insurance. He made one thing clear: this isn't chaos or failure. It's efficiency, deliberate, and designed to manage power, money, and image.
She also makes more money than him, similar to Remy Ma. So would you consider him a gold digger?
No. A player ain't never been a gold digger. That nigga's a player. Nigga, that smooth player, nigga. Now, man, now, you always supposed to play for the bank. My grandmama told me, if a woman really like you, it ain't nothing she won't do for you. Well, grandmama, how you know if she really like you? She'll give you her money.
He was saying love often expresses itself through resources. When someone has complete access to your time, energy, or finances without resistance, it reveals the balance of power whether you notice it or not. He widened the lens, pointing out that public obsession with who earns more misses the real question: who controls the story? Who decides what reaches the audience and what stays private? Who knows when to speak and when silence is smarter? In that structure, silence becomes a form of currency. Quiet people aren't weak, they are strategic. Loud voices burn bridges. Restrained ones control the room. Charleston brought Remy Ma back into the discussion, not emotionally, but structurally. She spoke freely, challenged narratives, and didn't fit into a system that demanded careful image management. In industries obsessed with control, unpredictability becomes a liability. Oh, it wasn't about love lost, it was risk removed. He explained how relationships, built on utility, don't collapse dramatically, they expire quietly. He tied this to physical and emotional strain. Repeated injuries, constant scrutiny, and fatigue make dependence feel natural. If relationships are treated purely as emotions, they crumble under pressure. But when built like responsibilities, they survive storms. He suggested that many celebrity relationships function this way. Strategic, optimized, designed to manage power, image, and influence. Love, when present, becomes leverage. Silence isn't betrayal, it's policy. And when the system no longer serves its purpose, the truth leaks quietly, revealing a pattern that was never meant to last.